What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Nick Diaz has finally spoken out after being away from the public eye for more than a year, and his recent comments suggest that he is not happy with the people around him, including his brother, Nate Diaz. For months, many sources claimed that Nick had been in rehab and focusing on getting his life back on track. Now, Nick has broken his silence and revealed that he feels betrayed by those he once trusted the most. In a lengthy post on Instagram, Nick addressed the rumors and explained how he felt trapped and controlled. He said that he was locked up for over a year and that the people he believed were closest to him kept him in that situation for their own personal reasons. According to Nick, some individuals claim to have his best interests at heart, even acting as spokespeople for his family, but he no longer believes anything they say. He made it clear that he does not want to hear negativity from anyone who tries to hold him back. Nick also called out certain YouTubers and online personalities, accusing them of being scammers who profit from talking about his life. He explained that his circle has become much smaller because of these experiences, but he now understands why that happened. He said he is more careful about who he trusts and who he allows into his personal space. Despite all the frustration, Nick did highlight the people who stood by him. He praised his wife, Kayla, saying that she has always had his back and never used his situation for her own benefit. He also mentioned Martin Sano, calling him a real one who has been loyal from the beginning, even when others tried to tear him down. When it came to his brother Nate, Nick's tone was more disappointed than angry. He admitted that he does not fully understand what Nate's issue is, but urged him to cut out the people in his group who constantly talk and create drama. Nick said those individuals are embarrassing to be around and do not represent what the Diaz brothers stand for. He ended his message on a positive note, encouraging everyone to enjoy their lives, stay positive, and appreciate their freedom. While there is still limited information about what truly happened, it is clear that Nick feels hurt and let down. Hopefully, the brothers can resolve this situation privately and return to supporting each other both in life and in training. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Paddy Pimblett has gone off on Arman for what he believes is copying his style and trying to follow the same path to fame. In a recent clip, Paddy reacted strongly to Arman's growing presence on social media, where many fans have been praising him for what they call a generational run. Arman has been appearing on multiple streams, giving interviews, and openly speaking about his rivalry with Paddy, which has helped him gain more attention over the past few weeks. During an appearance on Full Send MMA, Paddy shared his honest thoughts on the situation. He said that Arman has been jumping from platform to platform, constantly talking about him and trying to build his own name using the rivalry. While Paddy admitted that this strategy has been working, he made it clear that he is not impressed by it at all. In his view, Arman is simply trying to imitate his personality and online presence. Paddy joked that Arman is now trying to act like him on social media, even copying his food habits. He laughed about how Arman suddenly posts himself eating burgers and pizza, saying he should stick to caviar instead. According to Paddy, Arman comes from a more privileged background and should embrace that, rather than pretending to be someone he is not. He described him as a posh lad and mocked the idea of him trying to fit into Paddy's rough and ready image. Paddy also addressed some of the comments Arman has made about him in recent interviews. He said that Arman has openly admitted that he does not like him and has even claimed to hate him. Paddy found this strange and unnecessary, suggesting that Arman is trying too hard to create drama. He believes that Arman thinks he deserves everything handed to him on a silver platter because of his background and family money. Despite all the criticism, Paddy remained confident and unfazed. He made it clear that he knows who he is and does not need to copy anyone to stay relevant. He believes his personality, fan connection, and performances inside the cage speak for themselves. For now, this feud continues to heat up, and fans are watching closely to see how it develops both online and inside the UFC. Moving on to another news. Ali Abdelaziz has thrown out a bold idea involving Justin Gaethje and Conor, suggesting that the two could fight for the lightweight belt if everything lines up. While many fans are still unsure whether Conor will ever return to the cage, his name continues to dominate headlines. For several years now, people have been questioning his comeback, and with recent talk of him appearing on the White House card, the rumors have only grown stronger. After Dana White shut down the possibility of Conor facing Jorge Masvidal, another name quickly entered the conversation. Gaethje's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, recently spoke with Submission Radio and shared his thoughts on what could be next. While discussing Gaethje's future, especially if he secures the interim lightweight belt at UFC 324, Ali brought up Conor as a potential opponent. Ali suggested skipping the interim belt altogether and going straight into a major grudge match. He talked about the idea of Justin Gaethje versus Conor taking place on June 14th during America's 250th birthday celebrations at the White House. In his usual outspoken style, Ali joked about bringing Conor to the event and making sure he stays focused for the fight. He also claimed that Conor has avoided Justin for years and said that right now, Conor does not have many strong options left. Ali did not stop there. He also reflected on his long-running feud with Conor and admitted that, despite their history, he would genuinely like to see this fight happen. He said that even though he does not like Conor personally, he respects what he accomplished earlier in his career. At one point, Conor was one of the best fighters in the world, and that cannot be taken away from him. However, Ali believes the situation has changed. He said there are levels to this sport, and Justin Gaethje is currently operating on a different level. According to him, Justin has evolved, improved, and proven himself against elite competition. He also pointed out that both fighters are around the same age, making the matchup even more interesting on paper. At the same time, many fans feel like this idea belongs in the past. For some, a Conor versus Gaethje fight feels more like something from 2020 than 2026. While it would still attract massive attention, it is difficult to imagine Conor cutting back down to 155 pounds at this stage of his career. For now, the idea remains nothing more than talk, but it shows that Conor's name continues to influence the lightweight division. Whether this fight ever becomes reality is another story, but it has certainly added another layer of intrigue to the ongoing UFC discussions. Moving on to another news, Arman has made it clear that winning the UFC belt means more to him than anything else in his life. During a recent appearance on Demetrius Johnson's YouTube channel, Arman spoke openly about his motivation, sacrifices, and long-term goals in the sport. He admitted that he would gladly give up all his money, luxury watches, and expensive cars if it meant he could hold the UFC title one day. When asked directly if he truly needed the belt, Arman did not hesitate. He said yes without any doubt and explained that the championship represents his lifelong dream. For him, it is not just about fame or financial success, but about proving to himself and the world that he reached the highest level. He described the belt as something he has wanted for years and something that drives him every single day in training. Arman went on to say that when you want something badly enough, you are willing to sacrifice everything for it. He believes that finally winning the title would give him chills and create a feeling he cannot fully describe. In his mind, becoming champion would make every struggle and sacrifice worth it. The conversation also turned to legacy and title defenses. Arman spoke confidently about his future, suggesting that he wants to defend the belt multiple times. He mentioned aiming for at least 3 or 4 title defenses, showing that he is not satisfied with simply winning the championship once. He wants to dominate the division and build a lasting legacy. In a lighter moment, Arman also joked about how eager he is to fight. He said that he is always ready to step in as a backup if needed. Laughing, he even claimed that he would be willing to replace Kayla Harrison and fight Amanda Nunes if the situation ever came up. He made it clear that he is constantly prepared and willing to compete whenever the UFC calls. He ended the conversation by joking about making sure the fight would be at 155 pounds. Overall, Arman's comments showed his intense hunger, confidence, and dedication. He is fully committed to his goal and seems ready to give everything he has to become UFC champion. Moving on to another news, the UFC released fresh footage of Dan Hooker grappling with Ciryl Adesanya during training camp, and fans loved every second of it. Instead of intense silence, the session was filled with non-stop trash talk, jokes, and playful banter between the two teammates. Dan and Ciryl constantly teased each other, laughed mid-roll, and even accused one another of cheating while fighting for position. At one point, they joked about holding gloves and trying sneaky tricks. The clip showed their strong chemistry, relaxed mindset, and mutual respect. Even while training seriously, they kept things fun and entertaining, proving why both remain respected. Moving on to another news. Dana White has officially shut down the idea of Conor versus Jorge Masvidal being part of the UFC's highly anticipated White House card. Ever since it was announced that the UFC is planning to host an event at the historic location, fans have been eager to know which fights will make the final lineup. The announcement sparked massive speculation online, with many people predicting blockbuster matchups for such a special event. Ahead of UFC 324, Dana White sat down with TMZ Sports and was asked directly about the status of the White House card. He explained that once the upcoming fight weekend is over, the UFC will immediately begin matchmaking. According to Dana, meetings will take place on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and the promotion will start building the card as soon as the event wraps up. He added that the full lineup should be locked in by the second week of February. While this does not guarantee that fights will be announced immediately, it suggests that fans could start hearing official news sometime in February. Contracts still need to be negotiated, finalized, and signed, which can delay announcements. However, the process appears to be moving forward quickly behind the scenes. One of the most talked about potential matchups in recent weeks has been Conor versus Masvidal. The idea gained traction after several figures close to Masvidal teased it on social media, leading many fans to believe it was a real possibility. Rumors even suggested that Michael Chandler might be out and that Masvidal could replace him as Conor's opponent. When asked about these rumors, Dana did not hold back. He admitted that he does not even see much MMA content on his social media feed and called the entire situation goofy. He made it clear that he does not take these online rumors seriously and suggested that fans should not believe everything they see on the internet. Michael Chandler also reacted to the speculation on X, joking about how easy it is to generate headlines these days. He said he could neither confirm nor deny anything, sarcastically comparing it to claiming he had landed on the moon. His response added another layer of humor to the situation. Interestingly, Bisping had a very different opinion. He publicly supported the idea of Conor versus Masvidal, saying that it makes sense for Conor's comeback. According to Bisping, Conor is still a massive star, and the UFC would want him in a matchup where he has a strong chance to shine. He also pointed out that the sport is better when major stars are active and competing. Bisping went on to explain that while the White House event does not technically need Conor, Jon Jones, or Alex Pereira, the UFC wants to make it as spectacular as possible. He described both Conor and Masvidal as entertaining fighters who would stand in front of each other and trade shots, creating an exciting spectacle for fans. With Dana now shutting down the idea, attention has shifted back to other possible opponents. Chandler remains the most likely option, but names like Justin Gaethje have also been mentioned. While nothing is confirmed yet, it is clear that the White House card is shaping up to be one of the most talked about events in UFC history. Moving on to another news. Dana White has responded to the growing backlash surrounding the upcoming White House card as the event continues to gain momentum. Over the past few weeks, Dana has been doing multiple interviews to build excitement and promote what could be one of the most unique cards in UFC history. However, despite the hype, several fighters have openly expressed doubts about competing at the event. One of the first to speak out was Brandon Royval, who said he is not interested in fighting in front of politicians instead of real fans. He explained that he prefers the energy of a packed arena and admitted that the idea of the White House card gives him Hunger Games vibes. His comments quickly went viral and sparked debate among fans. Sean Strickland also shared his concerns, saying he would rather see more regular fans included instead of the venue being filled with politicians and invited guests. He believes the atmosphere would feel very different from a normal UFC event and might take away from the fighter's experience. Paddy Pimblett added his own perspective, explaining that he would likely not be interested either because the limited attendance would make it difficult for him to bring his family to watch him compete. With more fighters speaking out, Dana White was asked directly about the criticism during an interview with Bloomberg. He responded to claims that the event is becoming too political and reassured fans and fighters that this is not the case. When asked if he expected any trouble getting fighters to agree to compete, Dana said he does not understand how the event could be considered political simply because it is being held at the White House. He pointed out that throughout history, different presidents have been fans of various sports. He mentioned that George Bush was a big baseball fan, Barack Obama followed the NBA, and Donald Trump has been a longtime UFC supporter. According to Dana, none of those connections ever made those sports political, and he believes the same applies here. Dana made it clear that in his view, this event is about celebrating combat sports on a major stage, not pushing any political agenda. He remains confident that once the full lineup is announced, fighters and fans alike will see the value of being part of such a historic moment. While some athletes are still hesitant, the promotion continues to move forward with its plans. As more details are revealed, opinions may change. But for now, the White House card remains one of the most talked about topics in the MMA world. Moving on to another news, the UFC is being called out for what many believe is unfair and disrespectful treatment toward Tom Aspinall following his recent no contest against Ciryl Gane. Tom learned the hard way that not everyone follows the saying, "Don't kick a man when he's down." After the fight in October, which ended after he absorbed 2 serious eye pokes, Aspinall faced heavy criticism for not continuing. Despite clearly being injured, some fans and analysts questioned his toughness and commitment. Even Dana White stopped short of fully defending him, suggesting that there was still debate about whether Tom could have continued. This reaction shocked many, especially considering how much praise Aspinall had received in the months leading up to the fight. For a long time, he was being celebrated almost daily as one of the most exciting heavyweights in the sport. More recently, Aspinall's teammate, Modest Bukauskas, spoke with MMA Fighting and defended him strongly. Bukauskas said that seeing the online criticism made him feel terrible for Tom. He described Aspinall as a true company man who has always stepped up when the UFC needed him. He reminded fans that Tom accepted a fight against Sergey Pavlovich on just 2 weeks' notice and has patiently waited for a chance to face John Jones. According to Bukauskas, Aspinall has done everything the promotion asked of him and has consistently delivered spectacular performances. He has finished opponents in the first round and proven himself at the highest level. Yet, people seem to forget all of that the moment the eye injury happened. Bukauskas pointed out that many critics have likely never experienced a serious eye poke and do not understand how painful and dangerous it can be. He also shared his own experience, saying he had suffered bad eye pokes in the past that left his vision blurred for a long time. In one case, the effects lasted nearly a year. He explained Aspinall's injury was especially severe, describing it as almost knuckle-deep in the eye. Because of that, he believes it is completely unfair for anyone to attack Tom for being unable to continue. Once doctors revealed how serious the damage was and confirmed that Aspinall would need surgery, much of the criticism faded away. However, Bukauskas believes the damage was already done. He said the backlash was horrible, but could end up motivating Tom even more when he returns. He feels this situation has added fuel to Aspinall's fire and will push him to prove his doubters wrong. Based on Tom's recent comments about Gane, it is clear that there is still tension between them. If they meet again, there will be no shortage of emotion, intensity, and determination from Aspinall, as he looks to remind everyone why he is one of the best heavyweights in the world.